Hello, I'm Dr. Vanita Rattan. I'm a doctor but also a cosmetic formulator specifically for skin of color. So today's video is a very interesting one. It's one that we don't talk about a lot, and that is which micronutrients can lead to hair loss. Now, hair loss is something that a lot of us are suffering from. It tends to get worse with age. We have male pattern balding, which has a different pathology to female pattern hair loss. But we also get hair thinning that can happen post-menopause. And just generally, we lose 1% collagen every year from our mid-20s onwards. And so collagen is the most abundant protein in the body. It's needed for your hair, skin, nails, and joints. And as you lose it, that will affect those areas too. So there are a number of different things happening, but one of them really is your micronutrients and your diet. And so today we're going to be talking about which micronutrients, if you're deficient in, can lead to hair loss, how it happens, why it happens, and how to replace it. As you know, I'm always in the comment section for 1 hour at the launch of every single one of my YouTube videos. So when you subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell too, so you can come and ask me your questions. But also you can follow me on Instagram, where you can ask me about your skincare, plus TikTok. And of course, we have our private Facebook group called Dr. V Sock Family. If you are as into skincare as I am, then please do get your hands on a copy of Skin Revolution. It's a book that I wrote, published by HarperCollins, and it really goes through different skincare conditions in detail. If that sounds good to you, let's dive right in. It's important to note that there is a lot of conflicting evidence in this area, but the reason we tend to suspect micronutrient deficiency is because it can lead to non-scarring alopecia. Micronutrients are needed for normal hair follicle cycle and cellular turnover. The matrix cells in the follicle bulb are rapidly dividing, and the key micronutrients needed to do that would be vitamin A, C, D, E, but also zinc, iron, and selenium. So today we're going to be focusing on those key vitamins and minerals. So let's first of all look at what a healthy scalp looks like. For a healthy scalp, 85% of hair follicles are in the growth phase, also known as the anagen phase. 15% of the hair follicles are in the rest phase, also known as the telogen phase. And a very few percentage of follicles are in the catagen phase. But when a shock happens, so this could be emotional stress, it could also be chronic illness, more of those hair follicles are pushed from the anagen phase into the telogen phase, into the rest phase. So almost accelerating the cycle to then get to the catagen phase, where you then tend to get more hair loss. So a common example some of you might have faced already would be, for example, when you give birth. So that can be postpartum hair loss, after illness. So after COVID, for example, a lot of us saw hair loss, after any operation or chronic illness, psychological stress, also weight loss. So rapid weight loss, which may also be coupled with nutrient deficiency. I then went through various clinical studies, double-blinded clinical studies, to see which micronutrients were having the biggest effect if you then start to consume them after you'd had a deficiency. And it basically showed that low vitamin D levels can increase hair loss, but if you supplement your vitamin D, then you start to regrow your hair back again. It's not like you need to take, a blood test in order to do this. Most of us should be consuming vitamin D in our diet. The problem is that if you have skin of color and you don't live near the equator like I do, I live in the UK, I am prone to having vitamin D deficiency. And you just know that. When it comes to summer, you tend to be happier. It also affects mood or vitamin D. Joints don't tend to ache as much, whereas in the winter, it does affect your mood. You feel lower, joints tend to ache more, muscles tend to ache more. And so these are all some of the symptoms that happen with vitamin D deficiency. As I knew this, I then decided to make myself my own collagen drink, which basically is 8 grams of marine collagen plus vitamin D and all the other ingredients we're going to talk about today, to make sure I was consuming them daily, specifically for hair, skin, nails, and joints. So for me, I'm 40 years old now, and my joints tend to ache, especially because I love to run, but actually collagen's been brilliant for my knees. So this is something that I would highly recommend. From mid-20s onwards, you tend to be vitamin D deficient, but also you want to take care of your hair, skin, nails, and joints. It does tend to do everything is holistic. Collagen is the most abundant protein in the body. So you don't have to take this one, but what you want to look for is 8 grams of marine collagen, with vitamin C, because that is needed to synthesize collagen in the body, plus vitamin D if you don't live near the equator. And if you also tend to suffer from hyperpigmentation, you want to look for zinc as well, plus copper, which can help with dull skin, and hyaluronic acid, which can help with anti-aging and plumping up the skin. So just a few actives to look for when you're purchasing your collagen. I struggle to find them all together, which is why I basically made this myself. Then you asked me to make it for you, so now it's available on skincare.drv.com. The second micronutrient that the studies were very clear to show was iron deficiency. So iron deficiency tends to happen more in females because obviously we menstruate, but second of all, if you're vegetarian and you're not eating red meat, you are more prone to being iron deficient. And so you want to be taking your iron tablets, but with the vitamin C, because you need that at the same time. So vitamin C is great to drink with your collagen and also your iron. I just had a thought. If you want me to create a brand new collagen boost with iron and vitamin C, can you let me know in the comments section below? I am working on different forms of collagen. So specifically, I'm looking at gels because I just went on holiday and I didn't want to take my whole big pouch with me. It would have been great if I just had some gels that I could just have in my handbag and have when I go shopping or when I go out. So I'm looking at gels as a potential new variation of our collagen boost, but I am very aware that iron deficiency is a big problem specifically for females, and the vast cohort of my following are females. So if that's something you want me to add, can you write that down below so I can see that this is something that you want? The next vitamin, but tends to have more varied evidence, is vitamin A. So vitamin A is actually needed for cell differentiation and cell growth. We tend to recommend that you want in your balanced diet 1,300 mcg per day or 4,300 international units. The next category is your vitamin B complex, which can lead to hair loss if you have deficiency in these. So the complex consists of riboflavin, biotin, folate, and B12. And because of that, actually, I put the entire complex into Collagen Boost. So riboflavin is also known as vitamin B2, and it's a component of two coenzymes needed for cell differentiation and also energy production. Biotin's a bit of a confusing one. You can see it either written as B7, vitamin B7, or vitamin H, but actually it helps with cell signaling and gene modification. And again, the evidence is variable on biotin. Folate is another water-soluble vitamin B, and it's needed as a coenzyme in making nucleic acids and metabolizing amino acids. And we tend to recommend 400 mcg per day. A deficiency in folate can actually affect your hair, skin, and nails. So it doesn't just affect one part of you. And B12 is needed for DNA synthesis. So B12 and folate work well together actually in a highly proliferative follicle bulb environment. The next vitamin is vitamin C. Vitamin C is essential for collagen fiber synthesis through hydroxylation of lysine and proline. Vitamin C is also needed for intestinal absorption of iron, which is why I said previously, if you are iron deficient and you need to take your iron tablet, make sure you drink it with a glass of orange juice. So you can find vitamin C in obviously citrus fruit, from potatoes, tomatoes, and green peppers. With fruits, I do tend to recommend organic to avoid pesticides, because even if you wash your fruit, pesticides penetrate the actual fruit itself. So even though it's more expensive, it's the one that I tend to opt for myself and for my kids. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. For me, that's quite important. The next vitamin is vitamin D, which you can either take orally or from the skin, which is then activated enzymatically. The role of vitamin D in the hair follicle is actually seen in rickets, vitamin D dependent rickets type 2, where you tend to see hair loss with it. There are less studies on zinc and selenium, but I still think it's worth adding into your diet. And the other question I get asked a lot about is premature graying. So the list of vitamins and minerals that can contribute to premature graying would be deficiency, would be iron, vitamin D, folate, vitamin B12, selenium as well. So there's a huge overlap there. So either you take a multivitamin with these ingredients, so these actives, vitamin D3, your vitamin B complex, zinc, folic acid, selenium, vitamin E, and hyaluronic acid. Plus you can then combine that and take your collagen, which could be, there are lots of very good collagens. I like Dose & Co. The marine collagen, I believe they do 10 to 12 grams per scoop. Plus I like Absolute Collagen, which is 8 grams marine collagen plus vitamin C. It doesn't have any of the other ingredients, but at least you're getting the 2 key ingredients. If you did want a collagen with everything in it, then you can use our Collagen Boost, which is your 8 grams marine collagen plus all the other ingredients that we talked about today. So you can have a look at the back and see how many grams you've got of everything, but it's your 100% RDA. We've also got different flavors. We have peach and pineapple, which I love, and that has caffeine in it, but I am working on gels and something else which is very exciting but I can't talk about yet. I'm still waiting for the results of the clinical study to come back on that, but it's going to be huge. Thank you all for listening, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.